Hey guys, we're going to be cooking something quite interesting. Let's see what it is. What is your girl into today? Well, let me tell you. We're going to be cooking up these Cucuzzi or Cucuzza squash that were given to us from a friend who grew some in their garden this year. They did tell us that they were extremely prolific, thus us having some, and they're kind of space hog. So as you watch this video, if it seems like these may be something that you want to try, be sure to have plenty of space and even consider utilizing a trellis for planting these. The skin on these larger ones can be quite tough. I did use just a potato peeler to, get all of that skin off. Then I washed again just in case there was any residue from the outside. We didn't want to introduce that into the meat that we were going to be cooking. Now, you could have just sliced this down the middle, but because of the awkward shape, I find it easier to just cut it in half and then slice down the middle. The inside feels kind of spongy, almost what you might imagine a sponge to feel like. Maybe a bit softer. So now that I've cut it in half horizontally, I'm going to cut it in half vertically. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get all of these seeds out. I start with a spoon, but I quickly realized it's a lot easier to just use my hands to just scoop those out. Now, I'm not sure if these seeds are mature enough to be fertile, but I do want to experiment and see. So just what I had on hand real quick, and that was close in reach, were these coffee filters. I'm just gonna scoop all of the meat and the seeds into that, and then later when I have an opportunity, I will go back and rinse the meat off and separate the seeds out, and I will take a sample of them and try to sprout them. And then if they do sprout, then I will save the rest of the seeds for next season. If not, perhaps I need to have one that was a little bit more mature. And now we're just gonna get these chopped up. There's no rhyme or reason to the shape or size in this case, but just make sure you try to get the size pretty consistent so that all of your squash is going to be done at about the same time. An interesting fact about Cucuzzi squash is that they are very pest resistant. So if you live in an area where your summer squash and your winter squash or even your zucchini are constantly attacked by bugs, this may be a nice option for you. And just for recipe's sake, I did want to have an idea of what 2 of these squash produce as far as cups, measurements are concerned. And so we're going to call this a total of 8 cups of chopped and peeled Cucuzzi squash. Throughout the video, I've said several times that this is a squash, but it is really an Italian heirloom gourd. And gourds are just known for having that really hard outer shell that makes them very easy to use for decorative purposes. Okay, it's time to cook. We're going to be starting with some extra virgin olive oil over a medium heat in our cast iron skillet. As always, season to your taste, but I personally think garlic and onions go well with just about any vegetable. After that starts releasing all of that onion and garlicky flavor, oh my gosh, smells amazing. This is the time we want to go ahead and add our squash. And this is also the time that I decide to bump the heat from a medium to a medium high. And I want to go ahead and get some of our seasonings in. And you can see we're using some Tony Catchers and a nice garlic parsley mix. I tell you, I love garlic. I sauteed on that medium high for about 15 minutes, but then the last 5 minutes I cut it down to a medium. This gives a nice texture to the dish and really immerses the squash in those spices. Bon appetit! It's time for dinner. Enjoy your Cucuzzi squash from our friend's garden to our table. Catch you on the next video. And here's just a little bit of information that my garden buddy shared with me in regard to growing these Cucuzzi squash.